Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great because, once again, I know I just talked about Reforge recently, but he has given me yet another opportunity to cook him, and I will gladly take that opportunity, because I'm sure you've all heard the recent news about Halo switching to Unreal Engine 5, I just made a video on it recently, and according to Reforge, this is the perfect time to reboot Halo, because that's definitely what the series needs, a reboot. Apparently, Halo is too much like Halo, and that needs to be fixed. And if you think I'm exaggerating, just keep watching because I'm not. And what makes it even worse is, by Reforge's own admission, he's not a Halo guy. He doesn't play the games. I may not have been raised on the Halo games, but I've played all the original campaigns and multiplayers in the MCC, and I played 5 on Xbox, and obviously I've been playing Infinite recently. So, you know, I'm not an expert on the games or anything, but I still know quite a decent bit about them. At least I can claim I know more than Reforge. I mean, even Gara says I know what I'm talking about, despite me apparently being a COD kid, according to him. In case you don't know, my first COD was Modern Warfare 2019. I was raised on Wii Sports Resort and Minecraft, aka I had a peak childhood. But whatever, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into this and find out why Halo apparently needs to be rebooted.
I'm gonna say the thing that the Halo guys, they hate this every time I say this, but Unreal 5 is the perfect time to make Halo feel like a different game. Like, honor the past, but it's time to stop making another. Don't just make another Halo. I swear, if the next Halo looks, smells like, feels like Halo, and the weapons are the same, and the enemies are the same, I don't care.
I mean, there you go. He literally said it right there. If Halo is too much like Halo, then he doesn't care. This instantly discredits anything you're going to say in the next few minutes. One of the biggest issues with Halo 4 and 5, and Infinite to a lesser extent I would say, is that those games didn't feel as much like Halo. Infinite was the game where they finally got the new mechanics like the sprinting and the equipment and all that. They got it right. They implemented it into Halo to add onto it while still making it feel like a Halo game. But Halos 4 and 5 felt much more like Call of Duty, which again is a big reason why they were hated so much. Infinite, in my opinion, is a near perfect combination gameplay-wise of classic Halo with adding new stuff. The issue is that multiplayer launched bare bones, but everybody was okay with it because it was quote-unquote a beta, and then the full game came out and barely anything changed, and then it took months, if not like a year plus, for Infinite's multiplayer to finally get into an acceptable state with a good amount of game modes and actual individual playlists. And even now, it's still missing some features from the older Halo games, which I talked about in the last video. Infinite was so well received at launch because it felt like Halo while innovating on the Halo formula. And again, the lack of content in multiplayer was excused because it was supposedly a beta, even though in all reality, it was exactly what we got with the final release. I guess the best way I can put it is Infinite was what Halo needed to be, just not enough of it. I hope that makes sense.
I don't. It's time for the reboot. It's time for the soft reboot. I think you need to do it. UE5's the best time to do it. You know what they can do? They can kind of do what Assassin's Creed did. They can hand the Combat Evolved remaster or remake or whatever you want to call it, they can hand that to the fans and say, hey, we love ya. We appreciate ya. But this is what you get.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Are you kidding me right now? This guy is unironically suggesting that what they should do to save Halo as a franchise is give the middle finger to the fans by remaking the first game and changing what made it so great, and then do that to future games in the franchise as well. Brother, are you kidding me? If Reforge was in charge of Halo, the franchise would literally be shut down within like a year. Just imagine advocating to give the middle finger to fans. Don't get me wrong, there are things about Combat Evolved that could use some reworking. I remember the level Halo, the second level of the game, being, maybe I'm just stupid, but a little confusing to me with where to go and whatnot. Also, the library goes on for way too long, and the snow section in 2 Betrayals. I feel like that level layout could use a bit of reworking. Combat Evolved is not a perfect game by any means, but the least of the game's problems were the gameplay. That was the best part of it, in fact. Combat Evolved's gameplay still holds up to this day. Now, of course, it was improved with each game, but nothing about the gameplay needs to change. If they remake it, just keep that the same. Maybe fix some of the level layouts so they're a little bit better. And that's like the one main thing I can think of for CE is just level layouts. And yes, I know graphics, but that's implied because they would be remaking it in Unreal Engine 5. It's really showing that this guy has never played a Halo game before.
Because we got to get more people in this franchise. And the way to get more people in this franchise is not just another Halo. I know you longtime Halo fans you're already typing. You're like, you can't do that. It won't be Halo. They tried that with Halo 5. No, they didn't.
They already tried to get more people into the franchise with Halo 4 by making it more like Call of Duty. Guess what happened? People hated it. Halo 4 is considered one of the worst Halo games besides 5, but I think 5 only takes the cake because the campaign is so bad. Reforge is thinking exactly like how these out-of-touch higher-ups think. Oh, let's not appeal to the fans who, helped us build up the franchise and potentially get even more people interested in our type of game. No, let's completely change it to appeal to the widest possible audience, because that's worked so well for so many other games. Not just games, but movies as well. It's worked fantastically for Star Wars. It worked so well for Concord. Again, Halo 4 trying to appeal to the Call of Duty crowd. That worked out fantastic for them. All right, enough sarcasm. You get the point. Attempting to appeal to a wider market is exactly what got Halo into the situation it's in today. And they almost saved it with Infinite, and then they fumbled the ball. I mean, think about a game like Elden Ring, for example. All it did was it took Dark Souls and made it open world. Just a little innovation on top of what already worked. And look what happened. Over 25 million copies sold. I had never watched Dark Souls gameplay in my life before Elden Ring, and now Elden Ring is one of my favorite games of all time. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Just keep doing what you're doing, add a little bit on top of it, actually release the game fully completed on launch, and you can maintain a healthy player base.
Like Walter White says in Breaking Bad, no more half measures. No more half measures. It is time to do what they did with Doom. Go play Doom 2016. That's the level of change you need. You need to honor where you've come from so that yeah, this is another Doom, but it needs to feel and look completely differently. It can't be just another Halo.
There's a key difference between Doom and Halo, however. Doom was released in 1993 and got sequels up until 2004. It ended with Doom 3, and yes, I know there was a Doom 3 remaster in 2012, but that's a remaster, it's the same game, shut up. Then 12 years later, they rebooted the original game to be more, well, I want to say modern. That I know a lot of people associate that with like bad things now, but whatever, to make the game more modern. 3D graphics, way bloodier, all that stuff. And it goes back to what I said earlier about the original Halo Combat Evolved. The gameplay of that game still holds up very well. And here we are 23 years later with Infinite. The biggest changes are they've added hit markers, there's sprinting, and there's equipment you can pick up and use. And guess what? None of that has been the complaints of Infinite. Well, you just have some like really OG Halo dudes who want like sprinting and all that stuff taken out because it's not enough like Halo or whatever. The complaints, again, especially with Infinite, was just the game was unfinished at launch and it lost everybody's interest. If the live service game was actually a good live service, it would still be very popular right now. This is how you know this guy has not only played any of the recent Halos, but none of the past ones either, which is exactly why he needs to shut the hell up, because he has no idea what he's talking about. And I'm not claiming to be an expert or anything. I'm not saying, oh, put me at the head of 343 or Halo Studios or whatever they're calling themselves now, and I can get the whole franchise saved. I'm just saying I have a pretty good idea of what needs to be done.
If you've got the same hardcore Halo fans and the same hardcore Halo pros jumping and using the sniper rifles and using the same weapons and the maps and the enemies, and it all feels the same, it's like, yeah, that'll be as dead as a doornail. no one will care. They won't.
Okay, first of all, it's not like they only have the exact same basic weapons in Halo every single time they release a new game. They add new weapons every time. Like, you do realize this, right? Infinite has a whole host of new weapons that have never been in the franchise before. And yeah, it has some remakes of old maps in there, but most of the maps are brand new. And I just love he's trying to act like he knows what he's talking about, saying, oh, if you have people jumping around using the same weapons in the next game, that won't be fun, nobody's gonna care. Then how the hell were Halo 2 and 3 so successful? They had all the same weapons as Combat Evolved and some new ones, just like Infinite, but no, apparently now it's a problem. You do realize that a lot of the weapons in Doom 2016 are the same as the original game, right? What am I saying? Of course he doesn't. He has no idea what he's talking about.
There is something special about Halo, but you can't say that it's aged well, because it hasn't aged well. Every time I've talked about this or made a video about this, the Halo guys come after me, and it's like, okay, fine. If they give you what you want, you'll drag the franchise into the bottom of the ocean, squeezing the life out of it, saying, oh, I love Halo, it feels like Halo, while it just dies a slow death and nobody pays any attention to it.
First of all, yes, I can and I absolutely will make the argument that Combat Evolved has aged well. Again, level design, maybe not so much, but gameplay, absolutely fine. And second of all, the sheer levels of irony in him saying that people who want Halo to be like Halo will kill the franchise, while he's sitting here arguing for change that doesn't need to exist. He's basically advocating for 343 to pull an Of Mice and Men on Halo. And basically, if you don't know what that means, it basically means he's asking for 343 to 360 no-scope Halo in the back of the head. Not an ideal outcome.
Everybody that likes Halo has decided that they like Halo. Everybody that doesn't like Halo has decided they don't like Halo. Just another Halo wouldn't achieve anything. And you're like, okay, it was a cool new story. It was a pretty memorable story, but the minute you get into the PvP, and the minute you, or again, the weapons and the enemies, like if it all feels exactly the same, it's like, why'd you even bother doing this? Change the weapons? Change everything.
You're acting like they have not changed the gameplay of Halo at all since Combat Evolved. Yes, the weapons are similar, but the games feel completely different. Or at least Infinite feels much different than Combat Evolved. You can make an argument that the original trilogy felt similar throughout, and then 4 and 5 felt similar, whatever. But he's acting like there's been no change, and just every couple of years they're re-releasing the same game with better graphics. Again, Infinite's PvP was very well received gameplay-wise, and the lack of game modes and playlists could be excused because it was supposedly a beta. As we found out, it was in fact not a beta. Here's my thing, I don't care if you're expecting people to take you seriously or not, or if you want people to take you seriously or not. Either way, if you don't know what you're talking about, just don't talk about it. It makes you look really bad. Well, I guess worse in his case.
Change everything. I want you to look at how Doom took every weapon from the original and then evolved it and upped it and said, this is the new interpretation of that. That's what you need to do. Take the AR, for an example. The, whatever they call it, the assault rifle, the thing that shoots full auto. I don't even know what the names of a lot of the weapons are.
Jesus Christ, I thought it was bad before, but this dude just called the gun the AR and then said he didn't know that the full name was assault rifle. I feel like the living embodiment of the Squidward meme. Honestly, slamming my head against the cash register repeatedly would probably be more fun than listening to this guy talk. And again, it just shows he has no idea what he's talking about. Not just that he doesn't know the names of the weapons, but the weapons in Halo have changed throughout the games. And again, it's not like it's only been the same 10 weapons or something in every game. They've added stuff as the franchise has gone on. The assault rifle in Combat Evolved works vastly different than the assault rifle in Infinite, which of course you would know if you know, played the game. But what am I saying? Him playing games would take away from e-begging and promoting his god-awful coffee.
You take those weapons, you take your battle rifle, and you say, how can we make this so much more and so much more modern and better than what it's been? But when you hold it and you look at it, you can sense what we've done. when you hold and you use weapons in Doom, you know what they've done. You're like, yeah, I know what this is. This is tethered to the past.
Are you seriously trying to argue there's no difference between the battle rifle in Combat Evolved and the battle rifle in Infinite? Play the games for 5 minutes. They feel very different. Not so different that it's lost its identity, but the battle rifle in Infinite kicks more. It sounds way better. I'm sure its damage is different. Throughout the years of making new Halo games, they've basically been doing what you've been arguing. They're sticking to what works, and then they're slightly improving it to make it more modern. Reforge has clearly never heard of the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would you redesign something if what you already have works perfectly? Oh yeah, that's right, we have to appeal to the widest audience possible because that would work so well. You know what, great idea. How about for the next Halo campaign, we play as somebody who isn't Master Chief, write him very poorly, and then make him black. Oh wait, they already did that. It's called Halo 5. Change for the sake of change is not a good thing. If there is no purpose to what you are doing, then why are you doing it? Okay, thank God we made it through. Holy mother. Something about talking about Reforge and listening to him just gets my blood pressure up, so I'm gonna go play some Helldivers to calm down. Admittedly, that probably will not help me calm down, but it will be more fun than this. But in all seriousness, I actually did enjoy making this video. I'm just glad to have something to talk about again. Milking the PS5 Pro seems kind of boring at this point. So thank you, Reforge, for being a dumbass as always. But yeah, anyway, with all that being said, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Join us every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Salt streams, and potentially tomorrow night, actually, for a spooky game stream. I'm really thinking about it. Let me know if you're interested. And I will catch you all next time.